All right. Well, we're waiting for Mitch. We'll go ahead and get started because we got a bunch of notes here, guys. First off, all tournament team. Luke Waters from Northwest Missouri State, Joel Scott from Black Hills, Jaquise Kirby from Augusta, Tyshawn Crawford from Augusta, and this year's most outstanding player from Northwest Missouri State, Trevor Hudgens. Fourth NCAA Division II championship in program history, all coming since 2017 and within the last 5 tournaments. With that being said, the Bearcats are now 4-0 in the national championship game. First team to win 3 consecutive national championships in NCAA Division II history. This was their 17th straight D2 tournament game and win. It's their 6th national championship in the last 8 tournaments, won by a team represented by the Central Region, Central Missouri back in 2014, Augustana in 16, and then obviously the run that Northwest is on. 6th national championship won by a school from the Mid-American Intercollegiate Athletics Association. Central Missouri won in '84 and 2014 to go along with Northwest titles. 11th consecutive victory of the season. They were last defeated back in February. 55-1 now in neutral site games. And for Trevor, he scored 31. Second straight year that a Bearcat has scored 30 or more points in the title game. Ryan Hawkins scored 30 in last year's final. We'll get Mitch here in a second. We've got Coach Ben McCollum. Here comes Mitch now. We got Trevor. And we got the starting 5. So what we're going to do is we are going to ask the champions and their head coach for an opening comment. Then we will play past the microphone. So all of our student athletes will be available for questions for a few minutes. And then we'll go ahead and send them to the locker room to continue the celebration. We'll keep Coach Mack here for a little while longer and ask him some questions. So, Coach, got through it.
Yeah. First off, it sounds cliche, but it's really not. To get to the national title game, Augusta it obviously made an incredible run. They were a tough physical team, played hard. Obviously, they could have folded when they were down 15 or 16, didn't, kept fighting. So obviously, our hats off to them. It's hard. It's one of those bittersweet moments. We had those, and everybody on our team is just incredibly special because they all stepped up and just different stories at different times. But, obviously having, we always talk about the 2 guards, but I'll just do it anyway. Having those 2 together for, 4 years is and they're undefeated, in postseason, and I'm lucky enough to coach them, and coach them hard. And, it's a special deal. So it's like bittersweet because those 2 together, I won't get a coach again. So anyway, but everybody else, Mitch, he didn't play for 5, 6, 7, 8 games. And he comes into the national title game and he plays, how many minutes did he play? 28 minutes. Unbelievable. Daniel didn't play the first 2 rounds, 19 minutes, he's plus 10. Just that's what our kids do. They're just phenomenal kids. And again, I'm just lucky to coach them. One other thing though, assistants kind of get overlooked. My assistants have won 3 national titles at this point, together as a staff, and they're the reason that we're so good. Obviously the players as well.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Like I said, we'll open it up for everybody that's up here on the dais. So, John, go ahead and kick us off.
Trevor, obviously, you told us yesterday it would mean the world to you to be able to go out on top. That's exactly what you're doing. What's going through your mind right now, and how do you feel?
It hasn't really set in yet. Low-key, just kind of tired. I'm just being honest, but this game was a battle for 40 minutes. We're tough, we're scrappy. Wes, Dan, Byron, Poop, everybody up here, we fought. everybody fought today, and I mean, and we came out on top, and we got to win. And I'm just happy. I'm proud of my guys. Happy to go out like this.
Wes, you got the big matchup along with Daniel with the 7-footer. The first couple possessions looked a little scary. What was the adjustment as the game went on to handling him?
Just trying not to let him catch so easy and so deep. We knew we weren't going to stop him completely, so we had to kind of take what he was going to give us. So fortunately, we got enough stops to come out on top.
Go ahead, Chris.
Trevor, for you, just, Mitch, Daniel, those guys like Coach talked about, not getting a ton of minutes coming into this one, playing that big of a role. Just what does that say about those two guys and what they were able to do for you guys today?
Yeah, they were huge for us today. I mean, that's just what the program does. We're ready every single day for practice, ready every single day for games. And we just work hard and we play hard, and credit to them. They stepped up tremendously for us. They were very big for us, made huge plays for us. They were just great today.
Go ahead, Michaela.
Trevor, afterward in the huddle, you mentioned this was the hardest one yet to your team. And Isaiah's nodding behind you. So just can you elaborate on that and tell us about why this one was the hardest one to win?
You know,
I want to let you settle.
Yeah.
I ain't letting you settle. Yeah.
We just had our struggles this year. You know what I mean? Like every other year, it felt like we were just, a train, and everyone was just getting off the train tracks. We were just going, and offense was flowing, defense was great. This year it was just kind of shaky, just a little bit. But that's just this group, I mean, we're just tough. We're scrappy, like I said, and we have grit to us. And Coach says to the bitter end, and here the end is.
Yeah.
And
But
now it's
bitter.
now.
It
Now
wasn't
it's
bitter.
sweet now. But
Sweeter.
it's just who we are. We're just a different team. We're the 21, 22 Bearcats.
Darn right.
And we fight, and that's what this MO was this year.
John, go ahead.
Diego obviously got a good sized brace on your leg there. Just take us through getting ready for this one and that mindset coming in, dealing with the injury and wanting to play, obviously.
Just that fall, kind of landed hard. But credit to Doc Harr and Jake. They do a tremendous job. Just getting me ready. Because yesterday I couldn't even walk on it, and then today they nursed me up. It was ready to go. And then Mac had trusted me to put me out there, and I'm just glad that we got the win.
Trevor, you guys obviously have a lot of fans and they travel real well. How does it feel? You got all these fans that support you guys.
It's great. Just knowing that we have this tremendous fan base that we do. We know that wherever we play, we're going to have fans. Wherever we play, it's going to be loud, and we're going to have support. And, half the crowd's our family, which speaks measures on our whole family and all that. But it's just a blessing to have those fans in the crowd, just cheering us on, supporting us when we need to stop. They cheer real loud, and they give us some energy, and that energy is well needed. And, special thanks to them for showing up today and cheering real loud for us.
Gotcha. And obviously you've done this a few times. What motivates you to keep going and keep wanting more?
Just that chip on the shoulder mentality. Just overlooked just in the past. We're just fighters. That's just what we do. We're just fighters. That's all I got.
Okay, we'll have John ask one more, and then I'm going to have one for everybody since we didn't bring him up here just to look good with the trophy and all that. Go ahead, John.
Mitch, things were kind of you guys were kind of struggling on offense there early, and I think it was that inbound play where there was 1 second left on the shot clock, and you nailed that big three.
Oh, yeah.
What goes through your mind in that moment, and I guess in your eyes, how big was that to kind of get you guys going on offense?
Mac drew up a good play, and
initially I came out, I wasn't open. So Trev kind of looked off a little bit, and then I came up and I sprinted back to the corner, and Trev found me. And it's just, I don't know, I kind of pride myself on my offense a lot. You know, I battle on defense. I try, but you know, I pride myself on my offense. So it's definitely easy, and it makes it much easier for our offense to flow when I'm kind of hitting those shots.
All right, we're going to keep it there with Mitch. Trevor's going to go last. But Mitch, this is your first year being a part of this. What I want you guys to do is we'll go down the line. We'll start with Mitch. Just talk about the perspective of the first team ever to win 3 straight national champions in Division II. We'll start with Mitch.
It's crazy. You know, you kind of just go back to preseason, day one, Bahamas, man, coming back for those 2 weeks of practice, doing straight defense. But yeah, but you gotta go back to that. You know, you just gotta remember those days, remember when it was hard, remember how much you wanted this. You just gotta trust that work that you put in. So it makes it feel really good just getting here.
Wes, number 2 for you.
Yeah, it feels good. It just shows how good players Mac brings in and how he gets us going. And all throughout the season, it's just been a struggle. I feel like this year, especially, we've had a lot of ups and downs, and we just found a way. And I don't know, it kind of hasn't sat in yet.
Isaiah, you're the other freshman of the bunch. Talk about it.
Coming in last year, just getting that experience late in the season and having Trevor, DB, and then Hawk last year as leaders just kind of guided me through, kind of helped a lot this year starting. And starting back in the Bahamas, I mean, the practices in July, we're just now getting done in March. Like, it's a long season. So I'm glad that we went all the way, and I'm ready to get back to it. So I had fun, and I'm ready to get back to it.
All right. Luke?
Trevor's got those old legs.
Yeah, I've been grateful to be a part of the last 3, and obviously this is the end result that we see year after year. But what you guys don't see is that everyday process that we're all so focused on, and so that's what makes this feel so good, is because we know the work that we put in every single day, and even days when people don't want to be there, we still show up, we still go 100%. And Mac, that speaks to Mac and the rest of the coaching staff. They push us and they force us to bring that effort every day. And if we don't, they're going to let us know.
I gotta go after that.
Yeah, Diego, you get to follow that one. So go ahead.
Man, just being a part of these 3, it's just credit to Mac, what he does. Just having a partner like Trev, just me and him just going at it every day. I can't put it into words right now, still in awe right now, but man, it's just never gonna forget this. Making history, and I'm just excited to get back to the hotel and celebrate.
Trevor, I'm not sure. Did Luke pretty much say everything you were going to say, or do you have anything else you want to add?
You know, they pretty much said everything I was going to say. Credit to what? Yeah,
Coming to everything.
Yeah, thanks for coming to everything. Thanks for all the questions. But just to reiterate, because Luke likes that word. Just Mac bringing in the players, and then the coaching staff coaching us every single day, even in the off season, us getting individual work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Like Isaiah said, it's a long year. And we just push through, and we just keep working. We keep working. And like Luke said, you see the result at the end of the day. And just proud of everybody. Thankful for Coach Mac in these past 5 years. Thankful for the guys behind me to fight for me and fight with me past couple years. And, I'm just proud to be a Bearcat.
With that being said, gentlemen, congratulations on an outstanding season. The 2021-22 national champion, Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Gentlemen, go to the locker room, celebrate it. Coach Mack, we got to keep you here for a few more minutes.
Congratulations, guys.
Okay, let's open it up for questions for Coach McCollum.
Mac, you usually try and stay pretty level-headed and stoic, but I mean, you kind of choked up talking about Trev and DB. Can you really put into words what they've meant to you over the last 4 years?
Yeah, it's an interesting job that I have where, a lot of people go and maybe they're bankers, maybe they're insurance agents, maybe they're doctors, whatever it may be. And they may interact with people they like and dislike and whatnot. I get to go and interact with some of the best human beings alive, and I get to do it every day. And that's my job. I get paid for that. And obviously those two in particular have been phenomenal for this program, just everything they've done, the loyalty they maintained, their toughness and their will to make sure that we won today. Obviously Diego was, half speed essentially, but we needed him in at the end of the game. And it was, it's just it's a fun job for me to do. I'm exhausted. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when you win, this is the good thing about winning this one is I don't have another scout. So I can sleep.
John.
Go fishing.
Coach, you've been around Division II basketball for a long time, obviously. To do something that's never been done in the history of Division II basketball with the 3 straight, what can you put that into words, what that means to you?
Yeah, it's absurd. I mean, it really is. I mean, no one, like, until you win one, you don't understand, like, there's so much, like, things that can go wrong. I mean, it's just, and we were good enough and tough enough that we didn't allow anything to go wrong for 3 straight seasons. And, what are they, 18-0 in postseason? Is that right? Oh, because we had the 1 extra
17.
game. Yeah. Which is just ridiculous. I mean, it's absurd. I would be shocked if it ever happens again.
Yeah, Coach, could you talk a little bit more about, this game and going into the game, your game plan against the 7'1" Crawford when you don't have too much size on the team?
Yeah, I mean, they shoot 43% from 3. We had little to no chance to stop Crawford. Okay. But we definitely had little to no chance to try to stop Crawford and try to stop everybody else. And so you have to pick your poison a little bit. Who are you going to let beat you? And, you just kind of pick and choose on their team, who you're going to let beat them. And we did that. And fortunately it worked.
Coach, talking with people this week around you that no one's harder on you than yourself. When you prepare countless hours, just what is this feeling like for you, maybe personally, that all these years, all this time keeps paying off and you feel or see an end result that's sitting right there with you too?
Yeah, no, it does pay off. I think it's just seeing the kids and just seeing some of my former players there today is really where it pays off. Not necessarily the championship. That's awesome. And, it's nice to go out with a win, but seeing my former players there today and understanding that they're, great humans, great citizens, hopefully soon to be, great husbands, fathers, et cetera. That's where I take a lot of pride. The hard part about being a basketball coach, especially one that grinds like I do, is you feel a lot of guilt because you put a lot of time into your team and you don't put as much time into your family as you can possibly put. And so that's the hardest part about all of it. It's just, the sacrifices that your family has to make. No one realizes, I'm gone for a week. I don't see my kids or my wife for a week. Because there was COVID this year, we had 3 games on the road. I'm gone for another week during the season, and I'm gone for 4 and 5 days at a time. And it takes a toll, and then the guilt sets in and you're just like, well, keep fighting, keep winning. But to answer your question, that's not why I do it, to win championships. It's just not. Ultimately, that's your goal. But, you teach life through basketball and trying to achieve a goal.
Coach, we talked about yesterday how you described that national championship as the most difficult one yet. Now that you have this one, what are some words would you describe how winning this one feels?
The most difficult one yet. I mean, I'm just like completely exhausted. It was just one of those that like some days I had to come in and really motivate him. I had to be, like last year I was a lot more calm on the sidelines. This year they needed more juice. They needed fire. They needed that from me. And that's hard because it's like, okay, they need me to just be just fiery and into it and excited and, and sometimes emotional, because that's what this group demanded. Last year's group didn't demand that. They demanded calm. And so it takes a toll though. It does. It wears you out completely. But the kids are worth it. Seeing them successful again once they leave our institution is worth it.
To follow up on that, what was your biggest takeaway from that? What did you learn the most as a coach? How do you feel like you grew as a coach this year because of that?
I think you have to be what I always say is be the change you want to see in others. So if you want your team to play with fire, then you have to. There's a lot of things that I still need to fix as a coach, even in game where I'm just like, just borderline an idiot. Not borderline am. It's part of my competitive nature. And, I need to make sure that I maintain a little bit more level of calm, but, other than that, just making sure that you stick with the process consistently. And with this group, we had to simplify things. We literally couldn't run a play. Like we couldn't run anything. It was just our motion fist and that's it. And so that's what this group demanded and we did it. So, I learn a lot every day and I make 10,000 mistakes every day, but hopefully I'm getting better.
John, and then I'll let you ask the final question, Mr. Walker.
There you go. Macro, appreciate that. Daniel hasn't played in a lot of the tournament so far, and then foul trouble the West. You put him in against a kid he's given up a foot to. What's that say about Daniel and level of preparation he had to come in and battle, and that's when momentum kind of swung a little bit, was when he got in that game.
Yeah, he was great. We weren't sure on Diego, and Diego you saw him, he's pretty much half speed, but his competitiveness got him out there. So we knew that we were going to have somebody ready, and Dan was the one. So we actually got him to a gym either last night. One of my assistants took him to a gym either last night or the night before, or both, and was like, we got to get a workout, dude. We got to be ready to go. And yeah, let's do it. And just never pouted, doesn't pout, and that's why he's ready for the moment. Like he could pout. He's a really good player. I think he's eventually going to be an all-conference kid. And he doesn't play much, right? And then to come into this game and play like he was absolutely phenomenal. I remember we subbed, and my assistant does the substitution, so he probably hates me right now, but I still love him. And they went on a run when we took Dan and Byron out. And I'm like, we shouldn't have subbed, and put him back in and went back on a run in our favor. So he was great.
Mac, everybody in the program has talked about how difficult this season is and the trials and tribulations that you guys have had to go through. How much sweeter does that kind of make being able to come out unscathed of this year?
Yeah, I've said it before, and it sounds very simple, but I can be hard to play for, especially this year, because I knew that they needed that. But when you're on them and demanding the effort, it gets a little bit old, and you can go the other direction because you lose a couple games, or you can listen, trust, and do what you're told. And they did the second part of that. They listened, they trusted, and they just kept going. And it says a lot about, again, the kids that we recruit, but it's interesting. It's just, if you see our practices versus the year before, where it's just, it's like right away, I have to be like, you got to go, we got to go, guys. And it's the whole practice. And so it's hard. And I'm so glad that they were rewarded and see that, hey, if I do this, if I give this elite effort, if he's on me a little bit to make sure that I'm giving it, this is the result. And so when they go into the business world, or they go into their families, or they go into whatever community, they understand that if you do this process, a lot of times you'll get pretty good results. And you know, it's good. It's a good lesson, and hopefully they learn from this year.
Coach, thank you so much for the time all this week. What an unbelievable season, unbelievable group. You're national champions in Division II, once again, the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats.
And honestly, thanks for the, you know, and we say it probably tongue in cheek or, you know, cliche, but I think from a media perspective, all of you guys do an unbelievable job of following us, of making it fun. When you post stuff, when you write articles, you make the impression that Bearcat basketball, which I think it is fun, but you make it seem as though it's the greatest thing on the face of the planet. And although I don't read a lot of stuff simply because I don't want to build my ego up, I do read some and I see some of the stuff, and we do, all my players, all my families really, really appreciate what you guys do. And even traveling out here and staying out here this week, we appreciate you. So
Thanks, Coach.
thank you.